Hello and welcome to IAMC TV Radio. Let's explore the top news headlines today, December 30th.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll start with Afghanistan.
Okay.
The Taliban government there has banned women from working for NGOs.
Yeah, both national and international ones.
Right, so this ban could actually force many NGOs to shut down completely.
Yeah, I mean, they rely so heavily on women for their staff.
And it's drawn a lot of criticism
Oh, absolutely.
from international figures like Shabnam Dashimi.
Right.
She's really highlighting the impact this will have on Afghan women.
Yeah, millions of them depend on these organizations for aid.
Exactly, it's essential aid.
Yeah, this news really shows what the Taliban is doing.
Yeah.
They're trying to restrict women.
From society.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes you wonder about humanitarian efforts in the country.
Absolutely. All right, let's shift gears a little bit to Nigeria.
Okay.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo
Yeah.
has some advice for the current administration
Interesting.
about their relationship with the U.S. He's urging the government to engage with President Trump.
He was just reelected.
Yes, he was. And this is after Trump's remarks.
About Haiti and African nations.
Yeah, the shithole country's remarks.
Right. Obasanjo's saying Nigeria needs to be proactive.
To counter those perceptions.
Yeah, and build a relationship with the U.S.
A more productive one.
Exactly. He thinks strategic engagement is key here.
Show that Nigeria is not like that.
Right, not what those remarks suggested.
Okay, some economic news now out of Nigeria.
Okay.
The Warri Refinery
Uh-huh.
has partially resumed operations
Oh, wow.
after Revamp.
That's good news, right?
This is according to the NNPCL.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited.
Yeah, and it could mean more domestic oil production.
We'll see.
But there are some concerns
Oh, really?
about another refinery in Port Harcourt
What about it?
and allegations of mismanagement of funds.
For upgrades.
Yes, so it's encouraging. But there are broader issues
Transparency.
and accountability in their oil sector.
You always have to worry about that.
Yeah, and President Tinubu's pledge to reduce Nigeria's reliance on loans.
Oh, yeah, what about that?
It hasn't really happened.
Oh, no.
Their external debt has climbed to $42.9 billion by June 2024.
So that raises concerns about their financial stability
Absolutely.
and funding development projects.
It seems that despite his statements about debt servicing,
Yeah.
his administration has continued to borrow.
So is their economic strategy sustainable?
That's a big question. Okay,
Okay.
let's move on to justice and security issues.
Okay.
A Nigerian court has postponed the bail hearing
Okay.
for activist Olamide Thomas,
And she was arrested for?
allegedly making threats against President Tinubu's son,
Oh, wow.
Seyi.
Okay.
And this case has drawn criticism from human rights groups
They probably think it's an attempt to suppress dissent.
under the Tinubu administration
Yeah, they're worried about freedom of speech
and the misuse of legal mechanisms.
to target critics of the government.
In a separate development, a court has granted the EFCC permission
Uh-huh.
to freeze 24 bank accounts.
What for?
They're suspected of financing terrorist activities
Really?
linked to a kidnapping and extortion. High-ranking officials in the NSA's office.
That's scary. So there's a growing concern over terrorism financing
Definitely.
and links to other criminal networks.
Right, and this shows how hard it is for law enforcement to dismantle these networks.
And cut off their funding.
The Nigerian Secret Police, the DSS,
Okay.
have arrested whistleblower Mahdi Shehu.
What did he do?
He shared a video
Uh-huh.
claiming that a French military base was being built in the Northwest.
So he was arrested for spreading false information.
Yes, and this has sparked debate
About free speech,
and government transparency.
especially when it comes to national security.
Right, it raises questions about how the government handles dissent.
And if there's protection for whistleblowers.
Okay, finally, let's look at some international news.
Sounds good.
South Korea has taken action after a plane crash at Muan International Airport.
Oh, no.
The crash involved a Boeing 737-800
Okay.
operated by Jeju Air, resulted in 179 deaths.
Oh, my gosh.
A preliminary investigation shows it might have been a landing gear malfunction.
But they're still looking into it.
Yes, a thorough examination.
Of course.
And South Korean aviation authorities have ordered inspections.
Oh,
All Boeing 737-800s
wow.
operated by their airlines.
They're being very careful.
Yes, they're scrutinizing Jeju Air's records.
Operational conditions and maintenance.
Exactly, to ensure that they followed all safety protocols.
This is a reminder about aviation safety
It really is.
and oversight and
To
maintenance.
prevent accidents.
This will have a global impact.
How so?
The investigations will involve lots of different people.
International aviation authorities, aircraft manufacturers,
Exactly, and their findings could lead to changes.
in safety regulations or aircraft design,
To prevent future tragedies, it's a sobering reminder.
that even with all the technology and regulations, air travel still has risks.
Unfortunately, that's true. Yeah, it makes you think about all the recurring themes in these headlines.
Like what?
Well, the situation in Afghanistan,
Yeah.
it shows the struggle for women's rights around the world.
It's sad to see the Taliban reversing progress
It is, they're restricting women again.
and taking away opportunities.
Not just economic ones, but the chance to contribute to their community.
It's a reminder that we have to advocate for gender equality.
Absolutely, on a global scale.
What about Nigeria?
Well, Obasanjo's advice to engage with Trump, even after those remarks.
It's a tough situation.
It shows how countries have to balance things in international relations
You have to be pragmatic.
and find common ground even with difficult people.
What about their economy?
The Warri refinery reopening is good.
No.
It's just one part of the bigger picture.
They still have issues with corruption?
Mismanagement and their dependence on oil.
And Tinubu going back on his promise about loans?
That's a problem.
It makes you question their financial stability.
It's like what they say and what they do are different.
Then there are the cases of Olamide Thomas and Mahdi Shehu.
What about them?
They raise questions about freedom of expression in Nigeria.
It seems like the government is cracking down on criticism.
Yeah, anyone who challenges them.
It's worrying because it limits civil liberties
And makes them less transparent.
and accountable.
It shows how important a free press is
An independent judiciary and a strong civil society.
to hold those in power accountable.
Exactly. And of course, the plane crash in South Korea.
Right.
It reminds us about safety in aviation
We get complacent,
because we fly so often.
but it can be risky.
Human error, mechanical failure
Oh.
can lead to tragedy.
So what have we learned from all these stories?
Well, it's clear that the world is interconnected.
What happens in one place affects others.
We're bombarded with news all the time,
It can be overwhelming.
but we need to stay informed,
And engage with these issues.
even if they seem far away.
If we understand the world's challenges
We can be better citizens,
and contribute to change,
whether it's supporting human rights groups
or advocating for policy changes,
or just talking to people about these things.
every little bit counts.
I think we also need to stay hopeful.
Yeah, the news is often negative.
But there are people making the world a better place.
We can't get bogged down by the bad stuff,
We have to remember that progress happens.
even if it's slow,
So we need to stay informed about the bad.
but also celebrate the good.
What stands out to you from today's news?
I think it's how connected everything is.
The Taliban, Afghanistan, Nigeria, South Korea,
They all seem different.
but they show different parts of humanity
We're a global community.
with shared problems and opportunities,
We need to understand those connections.
and work together to build a better future.
It's a big task
But if we talk to each other, work together,
and have a common purpose.
we can make a difference.
We can learn from our mistakes
Celebrate our wins.
and keep working towards a world where everyone can thrive.
That's a great goal.
It's a message of hope.
And resilience.
Something we need to remember.
Even when things are tough.
Yeah, it is. We need to hold on to that.
Absolutely, even when things get tough.
So as we wrap up today,
Yeah,
let's keep these things in mind.
definitely.
The news isn't just facts and events.
It's about us. It's about humanity.
It shows the world's complexities.
The challenges and the triumphs.
And it's a chance for all of us to learn and to make things better.
That's a great way to put it.
Thanks for listening to today's top news headlines on IAMC TV Radio.